Hey there, everybody. Maureen Bakis here from Landscapes for Learning. Welcome back. Landscapes for Learning is my online classroom where I teach people to know themselves for wisdom and wellness. Everybody needs help lifting the heavy weight of being human. I want to deliver mind-body resources of my own and those that I've collected over the years to share with you at no cost to develop your response abilities, your ability to respond to your own life and your own experiences. Each of us can only respond to our own experiences. I can never know what it's like to be you. As an English teacher, I taught literature, and a big part of teaching stories is empathy and being able to identify with other people and be empathic and try to see the world from their point of view, the characters, or try to walk in their shoes and get an appreciation for how other people see life. And that's all well and good, but I think that we need to gain an appreciation and pay attention to how we see our own life. We see life with a lot of biases. We're influenced in a lot of ways. Our perception is often skewed. Our thoughts are often untrue or wrong or inaccurate and unhealthy. And so everyone needs help understanding who they are. It can start with you, however, by your own self-study. Try to know your self-wellness. Your alternative of not doing that is to trust everybody else who isn't you to tell you who you are. That's right, trusting everybody else who isn't you to tell you who you are. Now, I'm a therapist, behavioral health coach. I'm a mother. I was a teacher. I provide empathy, and I try to understand the other person who I'm listening to with an open awareness and being present with nice, calm energy, and help clients co-regulate and to stay in a state of being physiologically so that they can access the powers of self-study, to reflect and to observe themselves, and to exercise metacognitive awareness of how they know what they know and how they feel what they feel and what those sensations and emotions and thoughts are and so forth. And to do that with someone they can trust, not an authority of them, but somebody who's trained in understanding the process of self-study for wisdom and wellness and for growth and good health. One of the main parts of my job is to help people be honest about what they find, to encourage them and support them and give them tools and resources to travel inward, to travel their inner landscapes, to know who they are so they can manage their distress and to reach their goals, whatever they may be, and to realize their values and design their life and construct their lives with their unique suffering in the way that is their purpose, not mine. So in that sense, yes, you trust another person to help you help you see maybe what you can't see on your own, and that's great. But there's a lot of study that we can do on our own without the help, without the assistance of someone else. And I think it is our responsibility to do as much of that, as much of self-knowledge and self-study as is possible and as honest as possible. I think people can make great headway. I think often we depend more on things and people outside of ourselves to help us. But we really do need to do the work of helping ourselves as well. And a good helper will guide people to their own resources to help themselves and design their own life. There's a problem, right, when you get teachers or therapists or other quote-unquote helpers, good friends, parents, whomever they may be, who have skewed perceptions of you, have their own biases, have their own agendas, have their own evil intentions, and they steer you wrong, or they manipulate you, or they use you for their own purposes, right? That's always the danger, and we're vulnerable when we open up to people. So I would that should motivate you to want to study yourself and take your life into your own hands first and become the authority of you. Yoga is one way to do that. And my book, Classic Wisdom for the Modern Human, explains how that's true with Bikram yoga, which is self-study for self-realization process. It's not the yoga that you think. And also writing is another tool to do that. You reflect on your behavior, your thoughts, your feelings, your sensations. You put them in words. You learn things that you don't know about yourself just through the act of writing. It's super therapeutic. Lots of reasons to do it, all explained in the book. And many other resources that talk about how writing is an excellent tool for building self-awareness, for learning about your attention, which I did videos about attention. I did videos about self-awareness. The last video was about challenge, and now we're back to talk a little bit more about challenge in a different way, and responsibility, developing responsibility, what that means, why it matters, why it's important. And I'll just say that part of my quest, I guess, or my mission here at Landscapes for Learning, and as a behavioral health coach, is to bring responsibility training to especially young people, teenagers, older teenagers in high school, and undergraduates, and anyone else who's interested, but predominantly young people, to learn more about responsibilities. I think they learn a lot about their rights and not so much about their responsibilities and what that really means, that they are responsible for their own health, their own well-being, and when they're better and they learn how to care for themselves, then everything's better. The world's better, other people are better, and they're more capable and apt and prepared and strong and flexible to share their good health with other people as models, as mentors, as helpers, and so forth. I think we spend a lot of time on social emotional curriculum that teaches kids to be nice to each other, to be compassionate. We have an awful lot of policies about what kids should say and not say, what language they should use and not use, behaviors they should do and not do. And although some of that is justifiable and useful and important, we need rules and structure for social behavior and interaction. We need our environments and our schools and our cities and towns to be safe. I think they go a little too far, and I think we've misinterpreted and redefined what safety means and what security means and what injury means and what harm means. It's become problematic in the sense that we are not teaching kids to develop distress tolerance. We are inadvertently, I think, and with the best intention, teaching them more experiential avoidance, which is going to make them weaker in the end, and it's going to invite far more injury to them in the future, psychologically, physiologically, in many ways. And I think it's a big problem. I was a high school teacher, and I cared about my students, and I saw that as the safe space mentality sort of policies were being implemented, and schools' hands were tied, parents were demanding that, even especially kids with learning disabilities and special needs, be treated with kid gloves, be coddled, and, experiential avoidance, to not have to do certain tasks that would make them uncomfortable, would be specifically challenging, or even potentially overwhelming psychologically or otherwise to these students. And I think that in some cases it was justified. Every student's different, every situation's different, and that's part of the problem. It's never an all or nothing thing. But in many, 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 many cases, it went overboard. And in the end, I think parents and teachers thought they were doing the right thing by kids by letting them avoid discomfort and things that were challenging and that might be upsetting to them in order for them to grow and get stronger. And I think that did more harm than good, which I think is unfortunate, because in the long run, you weaken people. When you take away opportunities for learning, which is hard and difficult, and it hurts and it's painful and there's suffering involved, but it's constructive and meaningful. When you take that away from people, you make them not more healthy, you make them less healthy, and you make them less able. And they don't build their distress tolerance to face what's ahead. And life is hard. We all know it. Dangerous people in the world. Not everything goes our way, etc. So, what is responsibility, and why does it matter so much to me? I just read a book by Lembke, PhD or MD, called Dopamine Nation. I recommend you read it. It's about the science of dopamine and the relationship between pleasure and pain. We live in a culture of comfort. We all know this. Comfort and pleasure. It's the thing we teach our kids to chase after. Happiness. We want to feel contentment. Even when we meditate, everybody meditate so you can find that place of peace and harmony, and you're safe and nothing's wrong and all is well, which is spiritual bypassing, in my opinion, and just another experiential avoidance of pain. That's our Western misinterpretation of meditation, which is a great tool if used properly and defined properly. We avoid pain at all costs, right? We know this. And then we sell people things to help them avoid pain. Pills from pharmaceutical companies, terrible food that makes them feel better in the moment but really hurts them. Alcohol that's great in the moment. We have these cultural narratives about, partying and chilling and marijuana and, gotta lighten up, and all of it sold as a narrative and a trend, and it's unhealthy in the long run. We're hurting ourselves when really we think we're pleasuring ourselves. Anyway, all of this weakens our distress tolerance rather than strengthening us. And I think that the key to a meaningful life is developing your response to whatever life gives you, whatever it is, joy, pain, all of it. If you're just responding and looking for and striving and seeing and perceiving pleasure and comfort, you're only living a half life. And then because you've avoided it so much, you develop an intolerance for any kind of stress. And when an environment is padded to be safe all the time and you never leave your comfort zone, again, you atrophy, you don't strengthen, you weaken. And so you become less response-abled. So, because life is hard, it's an uphill battle, right? You've got to train. You've got to train to run up that hill. You've got to train to battle. You've got to train to lift the heavy weight of being human. What is that training? It's radical acceptance, training and practice, learning the concepts and then applying them through practice and trial and error. Every day, all the time. That's the training. So if you're ignorant, you have no idea what I'm talking about, contact me, find out more, learn more, and then learn how to apply the concepts involved with becoming more response-abled in your life, to construct your life, to construct a life of purpose and meaning and good health and honesty and integrity. So radical acceptance of the present moment is a bit of the training. The serenity prayer is a great tool. Accept the things you cannot change, change what you can, pray for the wisdom to know the difference. Stop trying to change or wish things were other than they are. It's a waste of time. It's a waste of your life. Every time you do that, time goes by, life goes by. You're upset, you're distressed because things aren't the way you want them. A lot of that comes from somebody feeding your ego. Maybe it's yourself, maybe it's the culture. parents, whatever. Measure your expectations as part of the training, and have fewer opinions. Okay, have fewer opinions. Social justice this is what social justice is. When you are better and you are more response-able, not having more rights, but more responsibility, you're better and so is everyone else. Part of the training is stop comparing and wanting to be other than you are. Accept who you are. Radical self-acceptance. All the good and the bad. And I say, we assume it's easy to accept the good. I talk to people all the time and ask them what their strengths are. And you know what they say? I don't have any. They're stunned. But if you want to talk about my weaknesses, I can talk till the cows come home about my weaknesses and what's wrong with me and how I'm broken and bad and weak. But when I ask people, what's good with you? What are your good qualities? What are your weaknesses? What are your strengths? What are your resources? What are your supports in your life? Very difficult for people to talk about that. Part of the training is to learn to accept all that you are, your entire life, and express your full potential. People don't think they have resources, but they do. I'm a resource. I share other resources from other people, trusted resources. I'm a person of integrity. I love to learn. I love to collect resources and share them with people. So, strength-based, trustworthy source that you can learn from, hopefully. And all I'm doing is guiding you to find your inner resources, to point out to you that you are your resource. You are your most important medicine. You are your most important teacher. You are your most important therapist. You are your most important nutritionist. You are all those things. You have all the answers. You need you. And self-study for self-realization is what I sell. Okay, it's not really much of a content curriculum, more of it's just a guiding inward so that you can learn who you are. It's an exciting process if you commit to embarking on traveling your inner landscapes to learn. So how do you develop responsibility? You develop it through honesty, through honest and compassionate self-study. So getting a lay of the landscape of you, taking the time to get to know who you are. It takes a while. It takes some effort. It takes a lot of effort. It takes a lot of attention. You can make this a regular part of your day and your life, just like anything else, just like brushing your teeth, just like eating, just like going to work. You can do self-study, and you should on a regular basis, a disciplined self-study. Compassionate means, non-judgmentally, non-critical, not negatively critical. Okay, we have to have constructive criticism and good judgment, which means discernment, not catty judgment or shaming or any of that kind of thing. It's just an assessment. It's just to see where you are as a baseline, right? And then how you change, and measure how you change. In either direction, it doesn't matter. It's just paying attention to who you are and what's what and what's happening. Practice every day with your experiences. All of your experiences are learning opportunities. So what do I do? How do I become more responsible? Pay attention to your experiences and see what you can learn from them. Okay, they're your teacher. Develop that landscapes for learning mindset. Try and fail, and then rinse and repeat. Okay, get to know who you are. Fail at that. Try again. Try to practice with some skills to develop yourself and express your potential and all of that. Fail, repeat. Repeat, fail, try, repeat, repeat. Learn from the positive behaviors of mentors and models. Look at people's actions, okay? Not their words. Look at their actions. Surround yourself with responsible people, people who respond to life intentionally with purpose. Develop organization and discipline to win the day. We all need structure and rhythm for our bodies and our minds and our lives. Circadian rhythms, rhythms of eating and digestion, sleep and recovery. You have to order and structure your life, okay? You don't have to be a tyrant and super strict, but strict enough and ordered enough and disciplined enough to be functional positively, right? Pay attention to when things go out of balance. Know your values and priorities. Give those some thoughts. I have some tools for you to use. Acceptance commitment therapy, it's called ACT, Stephen Hayes. Look it up. There's really good values and priority activities that you can do to figure out what your values are. Also, Classic Wisdom for the Modern Human, in the section on attention, we talk about values, because where your attention goes is where you'll find your values. So you want to live according to healthy values, things that make your life better, not worse, things that make other people's lives better, not worse. And this is a why for the hows, to overcome challenge and obstacles and to inform the organization of your days. Then you live in accordance with your values. You behave accordingly. According to what? Your values. You need purpose. Humans need purpose, okay? It's not because I think so. It's because that's what it means to be biologically to be a human being. We're built for self-actualization. We need purpose and meaning. And then it's ongoing maintenance, guys, responsibility training. You've got to observe yourself as you live. There's a good quote, Ernest Becker. Oh, no, is it Ernest Becker? Something about, let me find it. It's all, what is it? Hold on, I'm gonna find it. Okay, so ongoing maintenance to observe yourself as you live. Your whole life can't be total reflection, right? You have to act and behave in the world and move around in the world and do things and get things done and feed yourself and all of that. Beyond a given point, man is not helped by more knowing, but only by living and doing in a partly self-forgetful way. So that's the action part, living, right? As Goethe put it, we must plunge into experience and then reflect on the meaning of it. But all reflection and no plunging drives us mad, and all plunging and no reflection, and we are brutes. So that balance between living your life and then spending some time reflecting on it. Dedicate yourself to some good purpose. Everyone needs a sense of purpose, no matter how small and seemingly trivial. You need to build your life brick by brick. It's a grind, right? And so that's one of the benefits of building responsibility, is to work out and to just strength train and add a little bit more weight each time, build over time. If you're doing a metabolic conditioning thing and you're on the bike or something, or you're running and the clock is running out of time, try to do 2 more reps, try to do 2 more calories on the bike, try to, do a little bit more, brick by brick by brick. You're developing that discipline and repetition and good habits directed towards a purpose. All right, and then how to manage your strengths and weaknesses and guide toward living your values. You got to know about your mind-body system. You have to know more about your own humanity. How do you function biologically, physiologically, psychologically, mentally, spiritually, whatever, right? And always, what makes you you? What makes you human? Learn about what it means to be a human being. Nervous system regulation is important to learn. I'm going to share a lot of resources with you on my site about this in these videos. Breath work, mapping your nervous system, knowing how it functions, interoceptive awareness. You have an automatic nervous system that functions beneath your awareness, your cognitive awareness. Get to know how it works, okay? Watch it, learn from it, work with it. You'll learn a lot. And the more you learn, the less ignorance, the less fear you'll have, okay? You'll have a pain or a sensation or emotion and you won't go, oh, what's that? I don't know what that is. Yes, you do, because you've studied it, okay? You've paid attention. You've put words and meaning to what's happening with you. And you're always humble and you're always open to learning more and you're always changing. So you always kind of have to observe and keep tabs and keep learning about who you are. All right. Yeah, that's your purpose. Learn how your body works and its innate wisdom, understand how it functions, work with it rather than against it. And just so you know, yes, you're wired earlier in life, but your body's plastic, your brain's plastic. It can transform with your attention and your commitment to it and to always learn more. Learning is always there. That's what we do. We're learners. We have a prefrontal cortex. We get that higher brain. We can plan. We understand the past, present, future. Animals don't, right? And we have a body. It has an autonomic nervous system that functions kind of pretty much out of our awareness a lot, but we can develop our awareness over time. All of this is how you become more response-able. Okay? Life happens for you. Landscapes are for learning. The landscapes are your life, and they are for learning. All the experiences on the landscapes of your life are for learning. If you look at life that way, you'll always be learning. You'll always get that dopamine shot of novelty. It's exciting. And if you accept radical acceptance of all of your experiences, challenging, painful, upsetting, joyful, sad, whatever, all of it, all of life, you are 100% alive. You're fully whole and well and open and welcoming to all experience. So you're living all of your life, not 50% of it, not always chasing comfort and contentment and good times and happiness. I know we love those, but you can learn to love all of your life. You really can, with radical acceptance and radical honesty. Those are the foundation of health. Okay, that's not my idea. That's an idea I'm passing on from the wisdom of the ages. All right, that's enough of this video about responsibility. Choice is the next video from the Classic Wisdom for the Modern Human, a self-study guide for wellness by yours truly. You can find this on my website. I have online courses about each parts of the 5 self-study wheel that you can take, and you can always contact me for more. I also have a journaling program to know your mind, body for wellness that you can do on your own, or you can get coaching help from me, whatever you like. There are some products available at my website. They're really pretty inexpensive in my opinion, and then all the free content in the videos that I make. All right, everybody, I hope you live to learn and learn to live, and you take care of yourself. See you next time.